What is up, Man Hour Nation? Wyatt Williams here with you, and I am bringing on a very special guest, Zen Michalski, Ohio State commit. How are you doing today, Zen?
Hey, what's going on, Wyatt? I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good, man. Living the dream, brother.
Awesome, yeah. Just hanging out too, working out and stuff. Getting
Awesome,
ready.
buddy. So, as we all know, your future school, Ohio State, is headed to the national championship. So,
hmm
what has that been like you for your future squad to succeed in the college football playoffs like that? And kind of how has it been to kind of sit back and watch these guys that are your future teammates and future coaches?
It's been great, especially the Clemson game. That was easily one of the funnest games of football I've watched like
Oh,
my
yeah.
entire life. I mean, not just because it was like obviously biased, but like, man, like I don't. It was just
You were going
I was getting
crazy on
fired
Twitter,
up.
man.
I was excited. It was the run game, like it's everything. It was so much fun. But it's really important to me because the expectations now are so much higher. Like when we get there, you're either going to be walking into like a national championship caliber team, or you're walking into the runner up. So I know it's all going to be a lot harder. I'm really excited for it.
That's awesome, buddy. So, how much have you talked to, Ryan Day in the last week about all that's going on? Have you talked to him in the last week? When was the last conversation and what was it like?
About a week ago, yeah, just talking about the game is before the Clemson game, and just he's excited. The goal was, like he said, the goal was never to beat Clemson; it was to win a national championship.
I
So
like it.
I'm just he I Coach Day definitely has the mindset to go win it all. So I'm excited to see what he does.
So, what does it mean to you to go get the opportunity to play for a historic college in the game of football with so many legends that have played there in previous seasons? What does that mean to you to go play for Ohio State?
Gosh, it means a lot. It's crazy because it still doesn't feel real, but it's just awesome. I would not want it any other way. I wouldn't want to go to any other school. I just to be able to have the opportunity to go be like some of those guys is just crazy to me still.
So, as we all know, your body transformation you had going on in this off season. Can you kind of run us through the process of what it was like, kind of just from junior year on of what it was like for you to step into your 6'6" and 285-pound frame now?
It's crazy. I mean, actually, last week I hit 300 pounds, and I'm feeling really good at
Wow.
it. So, yeah, it's been crazy, really, because last year going from 217 to 285 was a lot, and I grew like height wise during that, so I know that helped it a lot. But it was really just about being consistent. A lot of people don't understand that, like, if you're not eating right, it's not going to happen. Like, you can work out every day and do like like kill yourself, but if you're not eating the right food, it's not going to translate. So it's kind of taught me a lot and just showing that like work does pay off, and it's just really fun too. I love I guess the process is fun to me personally.
So you went from a junior heading into the offseason with no offers, no D3, no D2, none of that stuff. And Indiana State sends an offer. And then after that, it was almost like you got them thrown at you every 10 minutes. I felt like every 10 minutes I was on Twitter and it was like, oh, Zen got offer from here. Oh, Zen got offer from here. Oh, Zen got offer from here. And it built up, built up. You got on with Louisville and then decommitted with there and then now signed with Ohio State. So what was that whole process like for you from the very start of no offers all the way now to the Ohio State University?
It's definitely insane still to me because a lot of how the recruiting process works is like they find you as like a freshman or a sophomore, like at least big schools like Ohio State, and they kind of watch you develop through high school. And especially if you go to Division 1, a lot of those players have been getting recruited since like at least sophomore year. So a lot of my recruitment happened around like 9 months, like in 9 months. Probably less than that, actually, but it was just a lot, super overwhelming. But I loved all of it. It was so much fun. Just getting an opportunity like a coach to like invest in you with like a scholarship to think that you could come play for a program is just it's really cool. Just knowing that you're wanted at a school to go play football, and I mean having college paid for is an awesome feeling too.
Yeah. So speaking of college to get paid for, it is student athlete, student first. What are you going to be studying while at Ohio State?
Business, yeah.
Business?
Yeah, just a very general degree because I want to go into some kind of marketing or something like that because that's what a good chunk of my family does. So I think you're kind of just following the footsteps.
Yeah. So Of course, everybody knows Ohio State releases. I mean, we can't even count them on our hands anymore of pro football players every year into the draft. I mean, like we talked about a second ago. It seems like every time I get on Twitter, I see you're getting a new offer. It seems like while I watch the draft, every 2 or 3 picks is an Ohio State player. So how cool is that for you to get the opportunity to possibly go play for one of these NFL programs in the future? And have you discussed the possibilities of playing pro football with Coach Day and some of your other offensive line coaches?
Yeah, it's crazy. I still, like I said, it's still so wild to me that any of it's happening. But it's definitely that's the next step. Like that's the next goal I want to strive for, and I'd love to go play. And that's one of the things that Coach Dade told me when they first extended me an offer is that they think that I could be a very special player and play if I like go and develop. I think I will, and just stay on track and don't lose focus. That I could definitely go and play, and I would love to do that. So I'm ready to work.
Zen, man, it's good to see you again, buddy. Have you made it up to Ohio State yet, or are you still at home?
Oh no, not yet. They pushed back our move-in date by a couple weeks, so I'm actually gonna move in on my 18th birthday on the 23rd.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I've been listening to Wyatt here toss you some softballs here, man. So I'm gonna come with a little bit of heat here. We've been talking a lot for the last 2 weeks about how Ohio State, they bent the rules, let Ohio State into the Big Ten title game, and then Ohio State obviously went in and they balled out against against Clemson. And now they go up against Alabama, and there's a whole thing with COVID, and they might push the game back. What do you say to guys like me? Because I'm a big I'm a Notre Dame guy, but I'm also a big sports guy, so I look at things from a fair point of view. How do you respond to people who will say that Ohio State didn't belong in the Big Ten title game, let alone in the college football playoff?
I mean, like look where we're at now. I don't know what else to say. It's like the proof's in the pudding. Like we went in, won the first playoff round. I mean, I don't know what you call that against Clemson other than humiliation.
That's all that needs to be said, Zen. I agree 110%.
Exactly. I mean, like if anyone has anything to say about it, I mean, like I don't think Texas A&M would have gone and done that, or
No.
Florida at this point. But
If anybody has anything to say, just ask them to go check the final score of that Clemson Ohio State game for you, and that should seal the deal.
I have something to say.
Zen, you're how big? What size are you?
I'm almost 6'7" now, but I just hit 300 pounds.
You just hit 300 pounds. So I'm just glad that you didn't say if anybody has anything to say to that, come see me. Because I'm all about like 5'9", about 200 pounds. And it's not even muscle. Like it's 200 pounds of fat. So like I'm just glad you didn't tell me to come see you. Because I would have just backed down and said, you're right. I'm wrong.
It's all good.
So Zen, Buck here, obviously. You know who I am, man. What's up?
Of course.
So why is I don't know how many players are in the NFL from Ohio State. The correct answer is 50, and 10 of them were drafted last year. Can you, we were talking about Washington football team just a segment ago. Do you understand you'll be blocking somebody like Chase Young next year, or 2 years, or 3 years down the road?
It's crazy to me still. Like I don't know. It's so wild. I still can't wrap my head around it, but I think I'd definitely be up for the challenge. I think that'd be so much fun.
Are you going to call out Tom Brady when you go pro?
If he's still around, but
he'll be playing until 52, right?
I'm sure.
Go ahead, Wyatt.
65.
All right, Zen. So I texted you earlier, and I told you I was going to bring you some heat. So hey,
I'm ready.
many people know. All right, I started over you in 8th grade. Okay, so don't you think that Ohio State should have given me a call by now or something? Because I'm still waiting. I think you need to give Coach Day my name or something. Like there needs to be some kind of a mutual exchange here. Because I'm still waiting on the call. I haven't got it yet.
What do you want to do? Go announce the game for him?
Anything, man. I'll call a game, play a game, whatever they need me to do. Okay. Coach Day calls, you do what he tells you. Okay.
Coach Day's the man.
So Zen, obviously, player or coaches come and go at the college level every time, right? And every year there's a big name college coach that tries to go to the NFL or gets a better offer at a different school. What happens if Coach Daly leaves Ohio State? Are you committed to the actual football program itself, or are you committed to a particular coach?
A little bit of both. I really love the program and Coach Day as well, but I actually that's something that like I base a commitment off a lot of the time. So that's something I asked him like personally before I would commit. And he told me that he had no plans of leaving. I know he's been talking. Yeah, there was like news about him talking to the Jaguars, and then he came out and told us that like the only thing he's interested in right now is winning national championships at Ohio State, and what he is interested in the future. So I don't think he's going anywhere. But I definitely love the program. So I think that any head coach that comes in, I'll be fine with. But yeah.
So speaking from experience, like on that aspect, was out of high school, I was recruited by a defensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden he goes AWOL on me. Like I didn't hear from him for like 3 or 4 months, and then out of the blue he calls me like, hey, you want to come to Emporia State? I'm like, dude, I thought you were over at Dodge. Like, why are you all at sudden at like Emporia State? So it definitely threw me for like a loop, and I was kind of like. I was upset, like you want me to commit to a U and a school, but like then you up and leave and don't even tell me that. So you are saying that you have the open communication with your coaching staff. Do you think your coach will give you a heads up if he decides to go with Urban Meyer and go to the Jaguars?
Oh yeah, I feel like he definitely would. I feel like tell us or something like that because I know it is a big thing in college football where coaches, it's always changing. Like there's not
Right.
many coaches that stay for more than like around 5 years, but no, I think he'd definitely tell us. I'd be fine with anything honestly because I think that like Ohio State's such a rich program that we would find another great head coach and it would be fine.
So Zen, man, I love listening to you, Ty. Every time that we have you on, man, you are so humble, and it's refreshing to hear, somebody who is about to go play at a university that is so rich in its history and competes for national championships year after year after year, and be able to just sit down and have a conversation with you, on that side, man. It is really good to listen to how humble you are. But let me ask you this, man. Going into your freshman year, do you have any expectations? Like, are you going in and you plan on starting as a freshman? Are you planning on redshirting? What do you have going on for you heading into your freshman season at Ohio State?
Honestly, I'm not going in with much of a plan. I kind of just want to go in and go with the flow. I don't want to have anything set stone because I know that so much can change. And I really just want to go in and kind of just I don't know what to call it. Probably just adopt the program and just start and kind of do what I wish I did as a freshman in high school and just buy in instantly and just start working and just kind of just see where it goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, look, man, you've got a fan in me. I'm gonna be rooting for Ohio State as long as you're not playing for Notre Dame against Notre Dame. And if you do end up playing against Notre Dame, I just hope all the sacks come from the other side of the line. That's all.
All right, so that is enough football questions here. You said you hit 300 pounds. First things first, wow. Secondly, are you still eating your grandma's cooking? Like it, like
Oh,
is
yeah.
the like is does the grandma really got that much of secret sauce that she's packing that pound on you?
I ate it tonight. I don't know. I eat pretty much the same thing every time I come here. I'll send you after the thing. I'll send you some the pictures I have of the food and stuff. But I don't know what it is honestly. I used to find gaining weight really really tough until you like I said until you like kind of find the right food that works for your body. And once you do, it's not as hard. And then all you have to do is combat that with like lifting and working out and make sure that all those calories don't just sit and become like fat and
Or just hit 30 years old, because once you hit 30
Yeah.
years old, it's really easy to gain weight too.
exactly.
Speaking of the weight room, are you on Ohio State's weight plan yet, or are you still kind of YOLOing it?
No, I'm on the weight program now, and it's really fun. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's less than I thought it was going to be. It is only 4 days of lifting, and I have 3 days off of no workouts or anything. So I'm guessing it's just recovery for those days. But I really like it. It's really tough, and the days that we do lift, they're vigorous. Like I'm at the gym for like 2.5 hours trying to finish this program, and I'm going like as fast as I can. But no, I really like it, and it's helping a ton.
One thing that I learned my freshman summer going into my first freshman year was sometimes when you do things less, it is more for the body. So So just kind of keep that in mind moving forward.
Oh,
So some more. You guys got any more questions before we let Zen go and enjoy his evening and happy graduation? By the way,
Thank you.
Yeah, happy congratulations on graduating. But hey, I got one final question for you, Zen.
Sure.
And I kind of did this with T the other night as well. My final question for you, sir. Zen, your last name is Michalski, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell from my standpoint in the booth, okay, from calling your games, I corrected people all the time calling you by the wrong name. So how often do you have to correct someone? It says Michalski, whatever they come up with. How often do you have to correct someone and be like, hey, yo, it's Michalski?
I've stopped correcting people. I've kind of just started going with it at this point. Someone calls me Michalski, I'm like, yep, you got it. Let's go.
You got it. That a boy.
what is the craziest last name that like you've been called? Because me being Michael Buckheister, I got that some pretty crazy ass names called. Like, what's the worst one that like you've heard?
Some people will add letters to it that don't even seem to like. It makes no like Michalski. Like someone add like an R to it. I don't know. It's just strange. But I don't blame him. I feel like if I had to read like a weird last name, I'd be just as illiterate and wouldn't be able to say anything.
To be
in
honestly,
high school, I went after my mom's married last name, which my stepdad's last name, which is Maldonado, which is a Hispanic last name. And my high school football coach called me Marinara, and from then on, I was known as Meatball because meatball with marinara sauce was a thing.
Oh God!
Oh
That's
my
good.
gosh.
all right, Zen. As always, man, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy eating some grandma's cooking, and when you move, man, definitely let us know that you're settled in and safe up there, man. And
yeah,
happy
for sure.
early birthday. You said the 23rd.
Yep, yeah, that's what we're
right.
moving into. Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, all right, man. Have a
See you,
good
Zen.
night. All right, guys, that is Zen. Like I always like talking to Zen. Like I think me and Zen talk
so down to
more
earth,
than my
man.
wife does.
Dude, he's so down to earth. I really like listening to that kid talk. He is going. I'm telling you right now, man. That kid is going to be 300 pounds he's hit. And from what you told me, Buck, when you look at when people think 300 pounds, they think big and they think wide.
Yeah.
From what you're telling me, this guy's 300 pounds of solid.
He's muscle. He's just cut.
That's insane,
So
man.
I don't know if I've ever said this on air, but let me give you guys some insights of like how recruiting linemen work. So when you see linemen and you see a recruiter looking at offensive specifically on the offensive side, the first thing that they look at is their ankle size. So why do they look at their ankle size? It is to see how much weight they can put on and sustain. If a kid has large ankles, he is not going to add that much more weight. If a kid has skinny ankles, you can pack on some weight on him quickly. We are seeing it with Zen. Earlier in the senior year, Wyatt, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was like 230, 240, right?
Wasn't much.
And then so over a 6-8 month period, he is up to 300. He's put on 60 pounds in less than a year. And Zen's ankles are probably only like 6 inches.
So Buck, you know him best as a player, and I had to ask him a question on what his designs were his freshman year. Is he going to be one of those kids that's just hard to beat out at his position?
Zen is a type of player that is going to outwork you and outsmart you. So I loved but hating coaching Zen at the same time. The reason why I hated it was because he was always in my ear asking these questions. So I mean, like don't get it twisted. Like I love a player that asks us questions, but like he would make you be on top of your game and know your shit. Because like Zen is asking you legitimate questions like, hey, what happens if this and this happen? You're like, well, what do I do? And there are other coaches like on the staff like, oh, just go do it. And like I would break it down with Zen like, like, hey, stop overthinking it. Let the game come to you. So like Zen's biggest downfall is sometimes he overthinks things. Like he is too smart for his own good. So hopefully I think at the college level, I guarantee you his first year there, his head is going to be spinning because the playbook is 100 pages. You have terminology that you never heard of. I mean, like granted, like over here at Floyd, like we have a pretty complex playbook with a lot of terminology, but Zen is smart enough that hopefully like he just sits back and let everything come to him and he doesn't try to attack it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
why do you you've known Zen your whole life? Like, do you kind of concur?
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's always been a really smart player, kind of like you said, a very curious person, not just on the football field, but he's a really curious person as a whole. He's always asking questions. They're just a knowledgeable guy. But the biggest thing that I think sets apart Zen, kind of what Combs said, is he's so humble. He's just a different breed when it comes to that because, a lot of guys, and I don't want to blame any of these big schools or the kids that are going to these big schools because it's incredible they are getting these opportunities, but like, you get some kids that go to these big schools like Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, and their head swells this big because of it, and
Right.
and that's one thing I can give to Zen from 8th grade till now, from Indiana State to Ohio State to no offers to Ohio State. He's always been Zen. He's always been the same guy. He's always been humble. So that's kind of what I think sets him apart from the rest of the pack is how he's never changed. He's always been Zen. He's always been the same guy.
And he told us that he would come on here every week just to talk with us. So, that shows you what kind of person that he
Sure.
is, right?
Yeah, that's great.
So, guys, we are going to take